there's WFC. There's I mean now there's all kinds of stuff, but it's definitely a little different. But I like there was a good number of places back in 2009. Like I said, I just didn't know that because
Right.
there was this place that ran out in Spavinaw, Oklahoma called MWA, Maximum Wrestling Alliance, and when I got booked on that show, brother, I thought I had made it. I thought like I was in my own head. I was basically main event mania when I made it on that show because I mean because it drew because it was in a tiny town and like they only ran once a month and like all the adults in the town would just drop their kids off at this like it ran like a middle school. They would just drop them off there and they would all go at the bar down the road. So it was just packed like every time with screaming kids everywhere and stuff. And they had me doing this. I was what was my name was Silo Sam Stackhouse, and I had cut off overalls with no shoes on and a
Oh, I
straw hat.
love
I
it.
came out like clapping and stuff. It was ridiculous, but like when they asked me to do that, like I said, I thought I had made it. So like, it's definitely changed now, but not, like I said, it really hadn't changed. It's just now I'm at a different point of view now, where
Yeah.
like the stuff that was like super gigantic then, now it's been put more in perspective. But I mean, it's a lot. I feel like it's a lot healthier scene now. There's definitely a lot less negativity and stuff. When I started, it
Mm.
seemed like there was a lot of like the more hazing and fighting and all that stuff. That stuff's definitely chilled out. So it's definitely gotten better, and the wrestling has definitely stepped up a notch with a lot of these younger dudes. There's some good dudes around here, especially in Texas and Oklahoma. There's a lot of
Hmm.
good dudes around here right now.
Yeah, is I like some of them keep poking up, like obviously Fuego poking up,
Oh
like
yeah,
you and GCW recently, obviously Fuego as well in GCW, but and then like we're seeing more like Texas people in general. Like I know Shane Taylor, he's out of Houston, he is out of Ohio, but he lives in
yep,
Houston.
yep.
And then obviously Keith Lee, what he has been doing, and like it's just all these different people are
And
popping
Brian
up
Keith,
that they're
BK.
yeah, Brian Keith. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so happy for what he's doing right
Oh
now.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's killing it. And
Oh yeah.
so I'm like, there's more people keep popping up. And so like this area is saturated, like in a very good way with so much good talent. And there are so many people coming in, flying in. Like we're having like I know Sam Adonis just moved to the North Texas area too. And
Yep.
like
Yep.
he's helping out with the, local scenes
D'Lo,
as well. So like
D'Lo
it's
lives there now too.
yeah, that's right. D'Lo does. I know Mark Henry, I think, lives in the area too. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like there is so and I think yeah, Charlie Haas is obviously still up here, but
Oh
like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
absolutely so much good talent. And there are so many different companies now that are also popping up that I love, and the schools attached to them. They're paying it forward, and they're really making sure that, the shit that they had to go through, that these kids hopefully don't have to go through that in the future because, you obviously want to leave the business better than what you left it or what you came into. So there's so many good people around, like North Texas, Oklahoma, everywhere right now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that was one of the things that I noticed when I started coming down to Texas because I wrestled one time in Texas in like 2016 for
Mm.
IHWE, and then I didn't wrestle. The next time I wrestled in Texas was my first GCW show in Houston. That was the next time I ever wrestled in Texas. And then after that GCW Houston show, I was in Texas almost every weekend for 2 years straight. So, but that was the first one of the first things that stood out to me was like how different the school was and
Mm.
like how serious those kids took it and like because I don't do these to like run down Oklahoma or like crap talk on anybody, but like the drive that some of those guys down have in, that the drive that they have in Texas
Oh
is
yeah.
it's just not the same here. Like there's no schools that can offer like there's I guess like Fuego School is probably the biggest name because you can get like he's there sometimes.
Hmm.
Well, he's there Tuesday and Thursday every week. I know for sure. And then I just text him right now. He's on his way over there now. Uh, and then D'Lo's there. I mean, I'm sure
Mm.
they're gonna have Sam Adonis if he's close by. I'm sure he'll pop up to school sometimes.
Yeah.
But like in Texas, they got Booker T's school. They
Yeah.
got what Jazz and
Yeah. Jazz and Mac. I mean, I think
yeah
Soda Pop helps
yeah
them out.
yeah they're running and Soda Pop is fantastic.
Yeah. Soda Pop's
So
amazing. People
yeah
that don't
yeah
know
yeah
who Soda Pop is, like, look up Soda Pop and,
yeah
like,
dude, it's great.
yeah. Plus, like, what he does on, like, behind the scenes, like, the technical side,
Oh, see, I
that's
didn't even know about any of that.
oh, yeah. 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 So,
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough I was working with Pele Wrestling for a
Yep.
while.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then, so he was working there for the last couple shows. And then I happened to run into him when I was working the NWA show when they were here.
Yep.
And yeah, I didn't realize he was working with Jazz and doing all that stuff. And
Wow.
he was helping in the production part for the NWA. And I was like, yeah, this dude knows what he's doing. Like nuts. Like
Yeah, that's, yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
he's also amazing in the ring. So
Oh yeah, I
like,
was gonna say, yeah, he's fantastic in the ring too. So yeah, he's a
yeah.
good dude. But yeah, that's something that I noticed. Like the just the drive. There's a lot of and like there's these dudes from El Paso that have been showing up to a bunch of the GCW shows I've noticed, and like they drove all the way out to Phoenix. They were at the
Gee.
Dallas ones,
Well,
and I
Phoenix
mean,
actually from El Paso is pretty close.
it's still like 6 or 7 hours or something like that for no for
Yeah. Well, I know.
just
Yeah,
to
we
come set
drove
up
out
the
to
ring.
Mania.
You
We
know?
drove out to Mania when it was in Phoenix, and like
Yeah,
2/3 of that is just going through Texas, and then
yeah. That's the first time we drove out there. Me and Fuego drove out there to Arizona. It was ridiculous because
yeah,
we spent 10 hours of the 15-hour drive just getting out of Texas. I was like,
uh-huh.
what is this?
Yeah. People just don't real. I mean, like you said, there's so many so long a drive. Like Texas is just so gigantic that
Yeah,
people don't realize just what do you mean it takes 4 hours to get to from like even San Antonio to the DFW area
yeah.
or Houston to the DFW
Well,
area.
yeah,
Like,
that's what Houston Dallas is about 3.5 or something, almost 4. And because that's
yeah,
it's 4 hours from me to Dallas. And then
yeah.
I'm like, and then when I go to Houston, I'm always like, dang, that ain't even that bad to Dallas. So I'm like, oh shit, I got another 3.5 hours on the other side of Dallas. It's wild.
There
And
are
I
times
still
I
haven't.
look at people's like travel schedule. I'm like, why are we going up and then back down when we could just
Yeah.
go over and then go up and then go to the next city? Like none of this makes any sense.
Is I still haven't even been down to like I've still never wrestled in like San Antonio or Corpus Christi or Laredo, or
Mm.
I haven't wrestled in any of those yet. So I haven't even got down there. Like I've done like I guess they call it the Valley. Is that right? I don't
Oh,
know
the
the
Rio
Texas
Grande
term.
Valley.
That they like I've done out there because I did like the South Texas Wrestle Fest.
Oh,
I
nice.
did that out there, and then I did
That's far.
uh I can't new is it New Breed
Oh,
Wrestling?
it
Is
sounds
that
familiar.
yeah, I did them. I did theirs, and they were out that way too because they kept calling it the Valley. So
Yeah.
I've still never done like I've never done Laredo, Corpus Christi, or
Hmm.
San Antonio. I haven't done any of those yet. So, but yeah,
There's,
Texas is gigantic. But like I was saying before, that I noticed the difference when in Texas. Like there's a lot of hungry dudes down there, and just like a lot of young
hmm
dudes that are just and just they're like there's so many good people down there. Like the talent wise, it's crazy. So that's what blew my mind when I came down there and I got to, and like they accepted me and I got to work a lot of good people the past few years. It's been dope.
Yeah. So when you were coming up, like who were, I mean, obviously you're, with a lot of veterans now, but who were some of the, and at this point, you're one of them, who, when you were coming up, kind of helped that you would maybe go to for advice or guidance or be like, hey, can you please watch this match or just happen to run into and they were just, in a good place where they wanted to help you out with knowledge.
Well, that's the problem that back when in the generation before this, there wasn't very many of those around here.
Ah,
That was the issue. That's why I mean, because like what I would call my generation, there's only 4 or 5 of us that made it out of that school over like the 2 year period. So it was not
damn.
great. But the one who trained me the most, that like basically how my training went was my first day. I showed up and they beat the break. Like I was bruised from nipple to nipple. I was bleeding. Like
Jeez.
I had lines of hair missing out of my legs because they hit me with the kendo stick and it was ripping hair. It was ripping the hair out of my legs and stuff. It was
God
wild.
damn.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And then that was bad. But then it got worse once they found out that I was athletic and I could do flips and stuff. Because then
Oh
and then I could
no.
bump. Because then like I'm not I'm this is gonna sound like I'm being dramatic, but when my first few matches, like my first like probably few months of wrestling, I didn't know how to do offense. All I knew like they would yell at me but I didn't know how to do moves because they
Oh,
never
you were
taught me.
just being a bump machine.
Yeah, they never taught me. I was taking choke slams off the top rope in training
Why?
for just because I could or because they saw I could, so they wanted to play Giant Slate. It was not great, but like I said, but it also made me tough and it made me want this and made me who I am today. So I can't like I don't I bitch about it, but not like in a wish it didn't happen way. Because
Right,
like I
right,
said,
right,
like if it didn't
right.
happen, I probably would have been tough because it's not easy to do this stuff full time. It's hard. So like that made
Yeah,
me
no,
who I
like,
am.
yeah,
But
people think, oh, only work 2 or 3 days a week. Not in the beginning, you don't. You work as many days in the week if you can.
well, it's not even that, but you feel that like people think that like our wrestling, what we feel, the wrestlers don't feel. It didn't go over at the show. Like y'all's feel, or the fans' feelings and stuff like those. They may the feelings may last, but I'm gonna feel that match. Like I'm just now,
Hmm.
my back is just now recovering from when I wrestled Blake Christian a couple weeks ago because I
Damn.
jacked my hip up bad and it like hip in my back, and it's just so people like we feel that, but like so it's tough. But like I said, like that whole coming up that way, I think it made me tough enough to be able to be able to do what I get to do now, and I wouldn't change it for a second because it's like I get to live a dream. Like this stuff, it's
Right.
still done. I tell everybody all the time, I'm still like 2.5, 3 years away or behind on processing stuff
Ah,
because
okay.
like I went from wrestling in front of 15 people in Oklahoma to the Hammerstein Ballroom in like 3 months time.
That's nuts.
So like my brain like and like yeah like this experiences like the people I've talked to and stuff the past couple years has been insane. But I didn't even answer your first question. Then like who changed my life as far as like I shout out to my homeboy Drake Gallows, who is the promoter for
Mm.
Mid South Wrestling in Oklahoma City, because he was the best man at my wedding. I was the best man at his wedding, but he also ran his own show. So my wedding present was that we got to do a triple threat with Abyss because that was like that's both of our guy, and it ended up leading into like this 5 match series I got to have with Abyss, and the advice and stuff that he gave me, and like just seeing him how humble and stuff he was, and just how like willing he was to pass on information, like he really wanted to like help people out because like he did a his TNA like Hall of Fame speech. Like he had a line in there that changed me because he said that like his goal was always get to the top so he could just reach back down and bring the other people up with him or whatever.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
like, but knowing him and like seeing him, like I know that that's true. Like that, and like he changed, like so he changed my complete view because it wasn't a coincidence that like it wasn't not 6 months after I did that stuff with him, I was on GCW, and like then a couple months after that, this is what I was doing this full time and stuff. So it would definitely it wasn't a coincidence that after getting to spend that time with him that all started to happen because that's one of the most smartest. Is that how you say that? Most smart, I guess. I'm not.
Uh,
I'm not that, so I have no idea how to say it.
Same. Yeah.
So
I'm not a, yeah.
I get hit in the head a lot. So yeah. Anyways, he's the nicest, most giving, one of the vet person that I've ever that one of the top guy that I've ever met. So he definitely his advice definitely changed my life. So being able to go to him was life changing.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, you kind of mentioned it there. When you started, Hammerstein Ball, Jesus, that's a bucket list thing, even if you didn't know you wanted it on there. Like
Yeah.
when you started doing things like that, like how did you kind of start processing it? I mean, like you said, you
That's like
process things,
I
but
don't
two
feel
and
like
a
I
half
have.
years
That's what I'm
back,
saying.
but like,
I feel like I'm it's still like because a lot of stuff just doesn't seem real yet. Like I mean, I know that I was there and like I experienced it obviously, but it just seems like I was watching like a movie about my life at the time. Like
right.
it just seems like because like I was so I wanted to be in the moment, but at the same time, it was just so big. Like walking out the Hammerstein Ballroom was insane, and then just all the other stuff I've gotten to do, wrestle all the people I've got to wrestle and stuff. It's just been it's been absolutely insane. And then all the messages and stuff of people of that people send me out every day, like all the views, all the comments, like all the stuff that's happened the past few years. It's hard to really put into words or to process because, like I said, it happened. I think Kevin Gill had one of the best lines on commentary for me. He said that I was a 12-year overnight success. And I was like, it was because that's what it felt like. I mean, I was because by the time I got to GCW, I'd already been wrestling for 12 years at that point. So like I was already in my mind, I was already kind of like, this is probably like I'm probably gonna just be a truck driver and just wrestle on the side and then all of a sudden I'm not a truck driver anymore. I'm just a wrestler who gets to craft all week and homeschool my kid and hang out with my wife and stuff all the time now. It's so like I said, it's just there's been because it wasn't just professionally that had changes. It was personally because like
Yeah.
my daughter's not 10 now and 9. She's 9. I lied to you. She's 9. We the
I mean, you
first
said she's
four
not 10, so I mean, you didn't lie.
There we go.
She's 9.
Boom.
Yeah.
The first 4 or 5 years of her life, I was a truck driver, so I was gone Monday through
Mm,
Friday. I would leave at like 5 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and I'd get home at like 7 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. But then we'd immediately load in the car and go to a show. I'd wrestle Friday, Saturday, and Sunday would be
man.
just doing laundry and packing my truck back up to go back out the next week. And that was the first 4 years of her life. And so then when like COVID happened, we started home. We just never sent her back to school, and it worked out because we just switched to the homeschool program, and she's liked it. She likes it a whole lot better. She's been doing that ever since. But like that, so that my personal life got to change because now like I do the homeschool stuff. Like I tell I'm basically a stay-at-home wife. I tell my wife all the time she works up at the nursing home. We live in a small town outside of Tulsa, and
Okay.
she helps run the nursing home in our town. So she still it's like she goes to work from 8 to 8:30 to 4 or 8 to 4:30 every day, and then I'm with the kid all day. and I get to do the craft stuff. So like it wasn't just professionally my life changed, it was personally too, because like I said, it was a complete switch. Like, and plus professionally, obviously